Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, we will be covering how to start a new raid account the right way. So we have an event dropping tomorrow, actually. So I don't know when you're watching this video, but it's the day after I record this video, which is Sun Wukong becomes the new login champion. And my editor, Sun, and I will be starting brand new accounts, and we'll be doing a whole video series on it called Noob versus Pro. So if you're interested in that series, go ahead and click the subscribe button right now so you can get updates when those videos drop. Now, if you're watching this at any other time, don't worry. This video and the information in it should still be good for a very long time. Your login reward champion may be different, but that really doesn't matter because most of these tips and tricks are about general game mechanics and other things that you want to concentrate on that aren't time sensitive. Okay, let's start with the very first tip. I am here at the new game screen. I'm going to start a new account. If you have not yet downloaded the game, you want to make sure that you go and get a referral code. You can get a referral code from a friend who plays the game, or you can get it from a content creator. And the reason that you want to download the game via referral code is because it'll give you some extra resources to start the game with, and it'll also help the player whose referral code you use. So it's a win-win situation. So go ahead and get yourself a referral code. If you're doing a self-referral, I will not be covering that here, but certainly you can do the same thing. So make sure, regardless of what's going on or why you're starting a new account, that you get a referral code. If you have already started the game, you can't go back and get a referral code without re-rolling. And usually you have to do that on a new device, or you will have to find a way to do a self-referral. And that's a little bit tricky. So, what I would say is if you're already 2 or 3 days into account or a week into account, don't worry about the referral, just keep going. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and click start new game here, and it is going to take me a moment to update the game and then put me into a cutscene. You have to go through that cutscene, you can't skip it. When you get to the end of it, you will be able to select your starter champion. I will meet you at that screen. Okay, so if you've completed the mission, now here you will get into the champion select screen. Now this is the first champion. We call this the starter champion. You can only get one of these 4 champions. The good news is all 4 are good, but there are some differences. The community generally considers Kale to be the strongest of the starter champions and Gaelic to be the weakest of the starter champions. The reality is Kale's valuable for a particular reason. He's got some poisons that'll help you in clan boss, and Gaelic isn't really weak. He's just trickier to use. And so if you don't quite have the right gear for him, or if you don't understand how his mechanics work, you might get less value out of him. My personal favorite is Athel. I really enjoy her. Elhain was my first starter champion. I've played them all. They're all viable. But if you just want to go with, the generally considered best champion, you can go ahead and pick Kale here, which is what I'm going to do today. All right, now we are in our base. This is called the Bastion. We've got our first 2 tips here. Let's go ahead and go through this tutorial. You're going to have a forced tutorial here where you'll have to click through a couple of things, play a couple of battles. Go ahead, take your time, enjoy the story, learn the mechanics if you're a new player, and then I'll meet you back here when the tutorial is over. Okay, so if you've completed the tutorial, you are now seeing a screen like this, New Player Rewards 1. Now, this will be different depending on when you're playing the game, but you will have a 7-day login reward chain here. Now, before we even jump into anything else, tip number 3 is really important. The first week of a new account is pretty intense. There's a lot to do, and it's going to take a lot of hours to accomplish those goals. So if you're looking to really start your account the most powerful way possible and snowball it as hard as you can, you're going to want to set aside some time to be able to play this game. I would say 5 to 6 hours a day is not too much time to set aside. You could even do more than that. And that might sound daunting, but it's okay. Relax. If that's way too much for you, you can also play this game an hour or 2 a day. But all I'm going to tell you right away is that if that's the way you're going to play more casually, just an hour or 2 a day, that's great. That's healthy. That's fun. Whatever you enjoy in terms of your own gaming time, that's what you should do. However, just know that this guide is basically based around the idea of snowballing as hard as possible. So some of those things that I'm talking about, you're not going to be able to do playing only an hour or 2 a day. A lot of the other tips are still going to apply, so you can still watch the video and get a lot of value out of it. but just reset your expectations so that you don't think you're going to accomplish all of these things if you're only playing an hour or two a day. Before we even get to step 4, we will move into sort of the cleanup here. Anytime you have a red dot, there's something going on here. There are all sorts of resources and rewards you can get. There are playtime rewards. You can click on that. There is a bonus here that when this downloads all the way, there's going to be materials there. You can also claim your referral program bonus. So if you got a referral code from a friend, you get some extra items here. You can go ahead and claim those. You can also claim this trust bonus up here, up top. You can go over here. You'll see there are daily login rewards. At 30 days, you will get a new epic champion. She's pretty good. But you get all of these rewards every day, so you want to keep logging in. Click out of the pop-ups. Over here, there is a news tab, so you can get up-to-date information on what's going on in the game. I'm just going to click all mark as read because I've read them on my other account. And now finally, okay, we're kind of settled in. I'm not too worried about any of the other red dots just yet. But I'm going to click on this tab here, and I'm going to go to promo codes, because right now you should be entering your first starter not starter champion. You should be entering your first new account promo code. Now, you basically only get one. And once you enter a new account promo code, that will lock out all of the other promo codes. But the first one that you enter is going to be the one that gives you a bonus champion. And there are 2 that I would recommend above all of the other ones. There are like 7 options, but these are the 2 best champions. The first one is going to give you a legendary. Get Deliana 23. This would allow you to get the legendary champion Deliana. Now, she's a very good champion. She's a good progression champion, and you may want to consider her. Right now, I don't think she's the best option because we're going to be getting Sun Wukong at 7 days. And I don't think that Deliana is going to be as valuable once you get Sun Wukong. You're going to want to focus on him. And it's harder to build legendary champions than it is to build rare or epic champions. In addition, there's a little bit of overlap in terms of what your starter champion does, Deliana does, and Wukong does. And so I think having those 3 as your most powerful champions early on is not as good a combination. So what I would actually recommend is instead of this code, you use this one. Superpowers. Now, Superpowers is going to give you an epic champion, but it's one of the best epic champions in the game, and his name is Deacon Armstrong. So this is the one I'm going to use. Now, you'll notice right away I got some rewards in addition to the champion, but the promo code goes on cooldown for 24 hours. This is why you want to use your not starter champion code, your new player code right away. Because there may be other codes that you have available to you that you want to use tomorrow or the next day, and some of them have a time limit. So get your code in right away, get that clock ticking, and then 24 hours from now, you can put in a second code if you have. Now, my rewards are in my mailbox, in my inbox. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go ahead and collect all these rewards right now. And then you will see I now have Deacon Armstrong in my roster. Now, there is another way to get a free champion early in the game, and this is a pretty good option as well. So if you go over here to your referral program, you can now get your own referral link. So you can click on this screen, or if you don't see that pop up, you can just click on get referral link, and then you can send that to a friend. And if you have 3 friends who are willing to play with you and use your referral link, you can collect this champion, Jamarsa, who is an epic support champion. She's a healer. And she's going to help round out your early game roster really well. So it's worth doing this. If you don't have friends who want to play, but you still want to give people your referral links, you can post your referral link in the Colred Plays Discord community. We have a section for that. And then other players who are starting new accounts can potentially use your referral link. And then you will both get bonuses. If you get 6 friends who take their accounts all the way up to level 40, you can even get a legendary champion, Chronum. He is Jamarsa's duo, so if you have both champions, they're even more powerful. He is a very good legendary, and he's definitely worth pursuing. So if you can do that, if you can get either 6 friends, or you can self-refer if you want to, that's a bit of a grind, but you can do self-referrals. You should look on YouTube for videos about how to do that, because it's a little bit tricky. But you can go ahead and collect yourself 2 very good champions. Jamarsa, who's an epic. Like I said, she's a support. And then Chronum who's basically a carry. He's a damage dealer, and he's a very powerful champion. So in addition to those, obviously, you can also get all of these other rewards you see on the screen. So definitely get your referral code started early. so that you can get these rewards as early as possible. Now back to the Bastion here. I want to start talking about the missions. Oh, we got our free rewards available. I'm going to grab those. Oop. But I want to start talking about the missions. Now, these are called the Arbiter Missions. And the reason they're called the Arbiter Missions is because, first of all, she gives you the missions. And second of all, she is actually the major reward in this progression chain. Arbiter is an amazing Void Legendary. She's going to help you out in Arena. She's going to help you out in other places. You want to make her your first long-term goal. It's going to probably take you several months to get Arbiter. The world record for completing the Arbiter missions right now stands at 34 days. I believe there's a community member, a Colred Plays Discord community member, who just recently hit that feat. I typically get my Arbiters on my accounts somewhere between about 140 days and 190 days, which is not terribly fast. You can certainly do it faster. But it is a long-term goal, and it's a really good long-term goal to set for yourself, because not only do you progress along, this bar here and get these powerful rewards, but every single mission also has a reward. So if you're not sure what to do next in the game because there's so much going on, just check back in here with the Arbiter missions and see what you have coming up, and maybe preview a couple of things that are coming up ahead of you. Some missions can be pre-completed so that when you get there, they're just already done, and others have to be completed when you unlock them. We do have a Google Doc, I think, or Google Sheets on our Discord that actually outlines which of these missions is retroactive. So if you want to take a look at that, you certainly can. You could also go to hellhades.com where they have a full list and description of all of the Arbiter missions. But start that right away, because it tends to progress in difficulty as you go, so it's a good measure of the progress of your account. And if you get stuck on some of these missions, that's usually a good indication that you need to grind up something, gear or champions or whatever it happens to be. In addition to getting on that long-term goal, we have really nice short-term goals. We have quests and challenges. So you have the challenges here. I would start doing these right away as well. And then also your quests. Your quests, you have daily quests. You want to complete every daily quest you can every day. So complete this entire list every day, because what's going to happen is not only will you complete this progress bar up here and start collecting gems, but this is necessary to complete the weekly quests. And every week, which is a week is only 5 days, you can get an ancient shard. And then if you do that 6 times, you complete all 30 daily quests plus these other quests here. You can get a void shard, and you can also get a sacred shard every 30 days. So these are very powerful rewards. You're going to want to complete them. Again, if you're not investing a super amount of time into the game, I would still prioritize your daily quests at the top of the list. You want to at least spend enough time every day to complete all of your daily quests. At level 35, you unlock a second set, which is called the Advanced Quests, and it's basically a second set of daily quests. You also want to do those. They have different rewards, but also powerful rewards there. And then finally, you have achievements, and you can just go ahead and do these. These are all one-time achievements, and eventually they'll just disappear once you complete them. Okay, I just wanted to address the fact that I'm moving pretty quickly, and there is a lot of information to cover. I don't want this video to last, hours. But there's more that you can find out about the game, definitely. If you want, go ahead and bookmark this video so you can come back and rewatch it and get these tips and make sure you're doing the right things when you start your account. But also consider watching some other videos about, all of the different components of the game here, whether it's, what's going on in the Bastion here, or what's going on in a particular type of area where you're fighting. I have a video series called my Raid Fundamentals video series. It's some of the earliest videos I ever did on my account. They're not awesome videos in terms of production quality, but they contain a lot of that information. So you can go back and watch those videos as well, and you'll get a more in-depth explanation of some of the things you need to know early on to do well in Raid. Okay, so right now I just brought this account up to level 6 in order to unlock some extra areas, and during that I did complete my first Arbiter mission, so I'm going to go ahead and collect that reward, and you'll notice now I have an XP banner. You'll be getting a lot of these, and this will speed up the progress of your account. You can just go ahead and use them, because every time you use one it just adds to this timer here, so that's not a tip necessarily, but I just wanted to give you that information. So consider it a bonus. Now, there is something else that happens during the first week that you need to know about. And if you go over here to the dungeons section, you will notice that we have these potion keeps: Spirit Keep, Magic Keep, Force Keep, Void Keep, and Arcane Keep. Now, the Arcane Keep is always open, but the other 4 affinities are only open for 1 day at a time, typically, and then they rotate through the week, with the Void Keep only being open 1 day, and the Spirit, Magic, and Force Keeps being open 2 days a week. But right now, you'll notice they have a timer on them that is basically 7 days. The first 7 days of your account, all of these potion keeps are open at the same time. So you will need potions to ascend your champions based on their affinity. And that's just another way to empower your champions and potentially unlock more powerful skills. And in addition, there are Arbiter missions that require you to get into these keeps. So at some point, these go on that normal 1 day rotation, and it becomes harder to get what you need in a timely fashion. So during this first week, you want to push those Arbiter missions as hard as possible so that you could potentially clear as many of these keep missions as you can, and also collect the potions that you need to empower your champions. The second thing is kind of similar. There is a section here, Faction Wars. You have to get to level 20 to unlock it. Inside Faction Wars, there is a faction crypt for each faction of champions in the game. There are currently 15. Those faction crypts are also only open for 1 day, and they are on a rotation. There are typically 2 or 3 open out of the 15 each day. They're only open for 24 hours, and then they shift to other factions. During the first week after you unlock Faction Wars, the faction crypt of your starter champion will be open for an entire week. Now, the reason faction crypts are important is because you can get glyphs from them, which improve the stats in your gear, and you can also get forge materials. And once you unlock the forge, that's going to be your best way to get powerful gear early in the game. So you want to be farming your faction crypts as much as possible, and the easiest faction crypt is going to be the one that your starter champion is in, because your starter champion is probably going to be your most powerful champion. So get in there early on and start farming that crypt every day once you unlock the Faction Wars area. Now that leads us back to your starter champion. In this case, my starter champion is Kale. Now he should be the focus of my progression efforts. I know that I have Deacon Armstrong on this account, and Deacon is already a 4-star champion. He's an epic. He looks very strong. But he is a support champion, and you really need your damage dealer, your all-around carry, to be as strong as possible. So my first goal, my sort of midterm goal for the first week, is to make sure that I get Kale up to level 30, then promote him to 4 stars, get him back to level 40, promote him as many times as I can. If I can get him to 60 in the first week, that would be the goal. If I can't, I still want him to be my first 5-star, level 50, and I want him to be my first 6-star, level 60. If you are an experienced player and you are going to swap Wukong in for your starter champion, that is certainly an option. But if you are a new player, I would highly recommend you 6-star your starter champion, whether that's Kale, Elhain, Athel, or Gaelic. We are up to tip number 10, almost halfway. As you are leveling up your champion, there's another way to empower them, and that is through Mastery. Now, Masteries are 3 trees of additional effects and stat bonuses that you can apply to your champion. You can only go into 2 of these 3 trees, and there is a maximum number of these particular bonuses that you can choose. But you can grind these out in what's called the Minotaur's Labyrinth. So you go into the Minotaur's Labyrinth, it'll drop these scrolls, and then you will use the scrolls, you can see, to unlock the particular masteries. Or you can go and click this button, get all scrolls, and you'll see for 800 gems, you will get all the scrolls necessary to complete the entire mastery tree as far as you are allowed to. What I highly suggest is on your first champion, you want to collect 800 gems and then buy your first champion's masteries. This means you don't want to spend gems anywhere early in the game until you can do this. And the reason you want to do this is because farming up the scrolls is very inefficient at low levels. It only really works when you've maxed out the Minotaur's Labyrinth. And you won't be able to do that without at least 1 6-star who is at level 60 and fully mastery. So by getting my Kale all the masteries and unlocking all of the extra power that's in these trees, doing that allows me to then farm up my other champions more quickly. My second level 60 will come much faster than my first level 60 because my first level 60 will be carrying those other champions through the game at that point. You may hear sometimes that people recommend you buy masteries on your first 2 champions. That's certainly an option. I usually don't do that, but I have done it on occasion, and it can work out either way. But it does take a while to save 800 gems, so I usually start to invest those gems in other places. but I'd highly recommend at least buying your first Champions Masteries. Tip number 11 is once you have your first 6-star, go out and get another one. Your account will be more powerful and will snowball harder if you just keep building 6-stars rather than building like a bunch of level 40s or level 50s. So get a 6-star champion, get them up to 60, and then start with another one. You're going to have some good options. Obviously, you'll have Sun Wukong after the first week, or another login champion, depending on when you're starting your account. So that could be your next 6-star champion. You also have Deacon Armstrong here, who is incredibly powerful. I often run him up to 5 stars and leave him there for a little while because he does a very good job at level 50. But eventually, probably I'll want to make him level 60 as maybe my 3rd or 4th champion. So if you're waiting for Sun Wukong to drop, you can certainly level Deacon Armstrong up. Or if you're very fast, get him to 60, and then Sun Wukong can be your 3rd level 60. If you have Jamarsa, Jamarsa is another option. Again, some supports like Jamarsa and Deacon Armstrong can do a really good job for a long time at level 50. But any damage dealers you have, any carries that you have, any big tanks that you have, you want to have 6-starred. And you don't want to get distracted by leveling too many champions to level 50 and not all the way to level 60. So really focus on getting level 60s, as many as you can, basically as fast as you can early in the game. With the one caveat that you don't necessarily want to be 6-starring very weak champions. So do your research and make sure you're leveling powerful champions and not just throwing away 6-stars. But yes, get as many as you can. Now, one of the ways that you get champions will be from shards. You will come into the portal here and you will pull various shards, various types of shards. Sacred shards are the most rare, then void shards. Ancient shards are still very good shards, and the mystery shards are sort of the common shard. Now, when you collect ancient, void, and sacred shards, you may just be, compelled to pull right away to just, oh, I got a shard, I want to get a champion, let's go ahead and pull. But remember, you're going to have several very good champions early in the game. You're going to have your starter champion, you're going to have your Deacon Armstrong or Deliana, you're going to have your Wukong or other login champion. You may even pull your Jamarsa from your referral codes, maybe even your Chronum from referral codes. And so that's going to give you more than enough to focus on. So instead of just automatically pulling shards, save them. There are a whole bunch of reasons to save them. These are rare resources and you want to get the most value possible out of these resources. You'll notice right now it says there is a 2x chance on a sacred shard. So if you go up to this eye here, this will tell you the drop rates for these different shards. Right now, sacred shards are doubled. So that means instead of a 6% chance of pulling a legendary, I have a 12% chance to pull a legendary. There are a bunch of different summoning events that happen, but these 2x events are the best events for you to pull, especially in an early account. So I would say for the first 6 months, probably, at least first 4 months, you shouldn't be pulling shards except during a 2x event. Now, 2x events come around every other weekend. So every 2 weeks, you will have a 2x event, and it will start with ancient shards. And then 2 weeks later, you'll have sacred shards. And then 2 weeks later, you'll have void shards. And then it goes back to ancient shards. So depending on when you're starting, the next event may be, one of these 3. You don't know which one, but that's the order that it goes in. There is one exception, which is you could pull 1 void shard early on because you need a void champion to complete certain quests and certain arbiter missions. You can also get a void champion through other means, but if you need to pull 1 from a shard, just pull 1 and then save the rest of your void shards. Tip 13 is save your energy refills. You will get energy refills as a reward. I'll show you what they look like. If you come in here to the gem shop, you can see this full energy. It costs 40 gems, but sometimes you'll get these energy refills as rewards and they may go into your inbox. And in your inbox, they'll have a timer. It might be 2 days, 6 days, or 99 days. And generally what you want to do is you want to hold those energy refills. Do not consume them until you absolutely need them. And the reason is because if you look at the energy bar up here, you'll notice I actually have more energy than my maximum allowable energy. So I have 149 energy, but my max allowed is only 33. Now, what happens is when you are below your maximum energy, so for instance, if I were at 25 out of 33, then you passively regenerate energy. If you are over the maximum, then you don't passively regenerate energy. So right now I will be stuck at 149 forever until I spend some energy and get back below 0. So you want to generally be at 0 or as close to 0 as you can be before you pop an energy refill. In addition, when you do pop an energy refill, you will only get the amount that your maximum energy currently is. So if I pop the potion now, an energy refill now, I would only get an additional 33 energy. But this max energy will increase as I level up my account. So very quickly, I will be able to get this to 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then the energy refills are going to be worth more if I use them then. So rather than getting 33 energy now, I could get 90 energy in 5 days. And I won't probably need that extra energy for at least several days because they are going to be throwing a lot of free energy at me. So hold on to your refills. This is a good practice to get into because it's very valuable all the way through the game. You are basically always going to be hoarding resources as much as you can. Tip 14 is to start building your Great Hall right away. The Great Hall is basically, you can see there are 24 select bonuses that you can add to your account. Now, the way you add these bonuses is you collect medals in the PvP arena. So you're going to want to start fighting PvP arena as soon as it's open. And then basically what happens is you can spend the arena medals that you win there on bonuses here in the Great Hall. You'll notice if you click on one, you get a sort of a map here. I don't know, a chart of how much each costs. So for 50 bronze medals, I can get a 2% attack bonus, or I could get a 5-point accuracy bonus, or a 2% crit damage bonus. There will be Arbiter missions that require you to build these bonuses. I highly recommend you just stick to 1 or 2, because there will eventually be a mission where you have to max one of these out in order to get the Arbiter. And so if you're spreading all of your medals around it, that will take a lot longer and it'll delay how quickly you can complete your Arbiter missions. So you will have to eventually spread them around because the missions will require you to, but otherwise concentrate on just one. In addition, you're going to want to advance in arena as quickly as you can, because the medals are worth more as you progress. So silver medals are worth 2 bronze medals, and then gold medals are worth 2 silver medals. So you want to get to gold as quickly as you can. That will take a little while. Like, don't feel like you have to rush it. That's not a 1-week thing. That might be a couple of months before you get there. But this should be something that you're doing every day, trying to build up your Great Hall, because these bonuses are permanent and they apply to every champion on your account of that particular affinity. So if I increased the attack bonus here by 2%, for magic affinity, that means every magic affinity champ in every fight they fight in the game, whether it's PvP, PvE, boss fights, doesn't matter, they would get that 2% attack bonus. So you do want to empower your account by leveling up these affinity bonuses, but like I said, focus on 1 or 2 at a time, so that will help you progress in the Arbiter missions more quickly. Tip 15 is push campaign. Push it as hard as you can, push it as far as you can. There's a progress bar down here at the end where you can get nice rewards. But in addition, by pushing the campaign, you will get access to new gear, new champions, and also more XP. Each chapter gives you a little bit more XP than the next. For the most part, some give you the same as the previous one. But as you progress through these 12 chapters, you will get more and more XP. Now, you'll notice this star progress mission here. You can collect stars by completing the different stages, but there are requirements for 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star. So if we look here, what it shows you is if you just beat the stage in any way possible, you'll get 1 star. If you beat the stage with no losses on your team, meaning none of your champions die, you get 2 stars. And if you complete the stage with only 2 champions or only 1 champion and your champions don't die, then you get 3 stars. Now, it's not important to 3-star this right away. What I basically suggest you do is push as far as you possibly can. And then when you stop being able to progress, then you go back and you'll start to 3-star the previous levels, the earlier ones. Arbiter missions will send you backwards. Challenges will send you backwards. You'll be going backwards quite a bit. And that will give you opportunities to not only get more experience, more gear, more silver, more drops, but it'll also give you a lot of opportunities to 3-star those previous chapters. So don't feel like you need to 3-star right away. In fact, it's not really efficient to 3-star right away. You're going to get plenty of opportunities to 3-star later on. Tip 16 is that Chapter 6 and Chapter 8 in campaign are good places to farm gear early on. They drop speed gear and lifesteal gear respectively. and those are two incredibly powerful sets for the early game. Speed stays powerful forever. Eventually, you will unlock the dungeons, and you can also farm these two sets from the Dragon Dungeon, so feel free to explore that. But if you need a particular piece, one of the nice things about farming campaign is you'll notice that each stage drops only one specific piece of gear. So for instance, in order to complete your lifesteal set, let's say you need a chest piece, you can just go into stage 5 of, Valdemar Strait or whatever chapter that you need and just farm it until you get the right chest piece. When you farm the dungeons, not only will they drop more than just one set per dungeon, but they will drop all of the different pieces as well. So it'll take a lot more runs to get the pieces that you need. So if you just need 1 or 2 pieces to complete a set, do it in campaign. Also remember that the higher the difficulty level of the campaign that you are going through, not only will you get more experience for that, but you'll also get a higher star artifact drops. So if you want to get 4-star gear or 5-star gear, you'll need to push up until brutal, whereas normal will probably drop just 1 and 2 stars, maybe 3 stars. Farm the most difficult tier of that chapter that you can farm. So I was just talking about the dungeons. Another dungeon to know about is the Spider's Den. The Spider's Den is the only place where you can get accessories. Not the only place, but the main place where you can get accessories. So this doesn't drop the regular artifacts, it drops the accessories. So you're going to want to get into Spider's Den and start getting accessories for your champions. Here in the roster, you can see there are 3 slots for accessories. You do have to unlock them at 4 stars, 5 stars Ascended, and 6 stars Ascended. But if you start with an epic, the epic will always have the 4 stars unlocked, as will any legendary champions you pull, like Sun Wukong. So you want to at least get a ring. You'll notice that the ring here says Sacred Order. So you need to get the accessories that are matching your champion's faction. So Deacon Armstrong belongs to the Sacred Order, so I could put the ring on him. But Kale belongs to the Dark Elves, so even if I wanted to, even if this 4-star was unlocked, I couldn't put the ring on Kale. But that means you're going to want to farm Spider quite a bit, get some accessories, and that's going to help you make those 5- and 6-star champions even more powerful, because you can get a lot more stats with accessories, once you unlock them. So get in there and farm Spider when it becomes, necessary to do so. Tip 18, I want to talk about the gem mine and the guardian ring here. So the gem mine is something that you can buy into. You'll notice it costs 500 gems, but then it produces gems. You can unlock 3 levels of this. Basically, each level will produce 5 gems a day. So if you unlock this, it'll take you 100 days to recoup your investment. If you unlock all 3, it'll be 1,500 gems, but it's still only 100 days to recoup your investment. And so the earlier you do this, the more free gems you're going to get. If you know you're going to play long term, if you're going to play, 5, 6, 7 months or a year or 2 years, if you expect that that's what your experience is going to be in Raid, definitely unlock the gem mine early on. I usually buy Masteries for my first champion, and then I put all of my gems, my next 1,500 gems, into unlocking the gem mine, and just get that daily production going. The other thing you can do over here in the Guardian Ring is you can unlock that, and there's something called a sparring pit, which allows you to gain passive experience for your champions. You just throw them in the sparring pit, and over time, it's like the only AFK kind of thing that's happening here for the most part. The only benefit you get for, just time passing. So you can go ahead and unlock the first level of the sparring pit and put a champion in there and start getting some XP. I wouldn't focus on that right away. I would definitely save that for a few months into your account because it does cost gems, but that's also something I just wanted to address in case you were curious about if it's valuable. It is valuable, but not super early on. So probably wait 3 or 4 months before you start unlocking levels in your sparring pit. Tip number 19 is you want to start saving the champions that go into the permanent fusions. If you come here into the portal, you'll notice there's a fusion tab. There are 3 permanent fusions. Razin Scarhide is a one-time permanent fusion, and Relic Keeper and Broadmar are repeatable permanent fusions. But you'll notice basically what happens is you have to collect the champions at the bottom, and then when you level them up to 3-star, get them ascended, you can fuse them into the champions on this row. And then you collect these 4 and you can fuse them into the champion at the top. You can see all of the ones that are required for each fusion. You will need to fuse Relic Keeper in the Arbiter Missions in order to collect Arbiter. Razin Scarhide is a legendary. He's a very good legendary, so you can go out and get him. So what I would highly recommend is, at least for these two fusions, if you pull any of the fusion champions, any of the rares or epics that go into that main fusion, you hold on to them. Put them in your vault, maybe level them up and use them in your faction crypts. That's a good idea. But don't use them as food for your other champions. Now, if you get multiple copies of these, like you'll get a lot of Diabolists. You can get her from campaign. You know, you only need one copy. So just hold on to the one copy and use the rest as food, and that's totally fine. By the way, when you are in your roster here, if there is a fusion champion, they will have a little light blue swirl at the bottom of their champion portrait. I don't have any fusion champions here, but you'll notice a completely different symbol, and that's basically letting you know that that is a champion that's used in a fusion, and you should consider not feeding it. Also, if you try to feed it in the tavern, you'll get a pop-up that says, "Are you sure you want to use this champion?" So you get opportunities to not make that mistake and feed those champions. You get the visual reminder of the little swirl, you get the pop-up in the tavern, but you know, it's up to you to ultimately decide, oh, I want to hold on to these champions and prioritize the fusion, or I want to use them as food and prioritize leveling my current champions. That is the decision that you have to make. All right, tip number 20, we're almost finished. You want to join a clan. Now, you can join a clan, I think, pretty early in the game, maybe, you know, right away, level 3, or maybe level 6. I'm not 100% sure. But basically, you want to find a clan and join it. If you're not sure about, you know, what clan to join, don't worry. You can change clans very easily. There's no like super involved commitment or penalty for leaving a clan. I do think you have to wait like 1 hour in order to join a new clan. But if you're looking for a clan that's friendly to new players, come to our Colred Plays Discord community. The link for the invite to the Discord will be in the description of this video. And then you can apply to join one of our clans. We are currently starting 2 new player clans. So those are going to be friendly to new players. We're also potentially going to have a more experienced clan going right now. So we are just beginning our journey with building a cluster. So, you know, we are starting off on that journey. But for right now, if you are a new player and you don't have any other options, or you just like the idea of joining our community, please do so. We have plenty of spots open, although they are currently filling fast, but we will also open new clans if we need to, if the demand is very high. So get into a clan, talk to your clan, ask questions. That's going to be a great thing to do. You can also do clan missions, which are going to allow you to gain clan gold. There is a clan shop where you can get resources there. And there are some very good accessories in the clan shop. So if you can't farm Spider, you can also go to your clan shop and get even more powerful accessories there. So that's a really good idea early on in the game. Finally, we are up to tip 21. And that is basically learn as much as you can, as fast as you can, or as fast as is reasonable for you, your time, you know, frame and your interest in the game. Basically, your clan is a good resource to ask questions. A Discord community like the Colred Plays Discord community is a great place to ask questions. Watch content creator videos, subscribe to some channels of content creators you enjoy, and just learn as much as you can. The game is big. Give yourself some time. You know, don't stress out too much. This should be fun. And if, you know, these tips feel like, okay, that you just threw so much at me, Colred, I don't know really, you know, where to start. Go back, watch the video again, take it in bite-sized pieces. You don't have to implement every single tip here on the first hour of your account. It could happen over the first week or first month or whatever, you know, time frame works for you. But remember, this should be an enjoyable experience. So take a deep breath, relax a little bit, have fun checking out your champions, have fun watching the cutscenes and getting into the lore. Go ahead and, you know, get into a community and meet some other players and let them, you know, guide you on what can be fun about this game and also what can be advantageous for your account. Okay, that is it for me. Thank you for joining me. I had a lot of fun with this video. I'm really looking forward to our new accounts that we're starting tomorrow for our Noob versus Pro video series. If you're interested in that series, definitely subscribe to the channel because those videos will start popping tomorrow. If you're watching this a long time from now, go back in the library and check them out. I hope it's a fun series. I certainly intend it to be so. All right, thanks so much. I've been Colred. I will see you in another video very soon.